Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, tax returns are due in another week. We'll update the latest in tax filing tips, and we'll update preparations for the Valley's hosting of next year's NCAA Final Four basketball tournament. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Activists held a rally today at the state capitol in an effort to persuade the Arizona Senate to restore Kids Care, a health insurance program for low-income children. Several dozen people rallied at the Capitol to pressure Senate President Andy Biggs to move on a Kids Care restoration bill that's already passed the House but is now blocked by Biggs from being considered in the Senate.
It has very broad support. It passed with a vote of 47-12 in the House. It never got to move in the Senate because one man blocked it. So now we're asking all of the representatives and senators, use your vote to lift the freeze on Kids Care. Don't let one man stand in the way.
Arizona is the only state without a federal children's health insurance program. This year's tax filing deadline is April 18th, a few days later than usual, but it's still fast approaching, which means time's running out to look at new laws and tax filing tips. Joining us now is Bill Brunson of the IRS and Anthony Forcino of the Arizona Department of Revenue. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Ted, thanks for having us.
Why April 18th? What's going on here?
The Washington, D.C. celebration of the Emancipation is on April 15th. It's a federal recognized holiday, which then bumps the return into the next business day, which happens to be Monday, April 18th. So folks have a few more days to get all their records together and then hopefully electronically file that tax return.
And that's the same for the state as far as the federal? I mean,
yes, when that Emancipation Day went in several years ago, we passed a law to say that we would coincide with that.
Okay. All right, let's talk about anything new, any new laws, any changes, anything we need to know about here?
Well, at the end of the year, Congress kicked a few things down the road. They either extended them for 2 years or made them permanent. Items such as the above-the-line deduction for school teachers who take money out of their pocket to pay for school expenses that aren't reimbursed by the administration. Or you can take, if you can itemize, either sales tax or state tax that you paid, whichever is the greater of the two, then that would give you the best tax benefit and reduce your total tax bill. So that option to choose is still available. And there are other items that deal with energy credits and a few other things. But for the most part, there really hasn't been a lot of change, Ted.
Kind of quiet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And what about the state level?
State, not very much. I mean, again, most of the things have been increased by inflation. One of the things that's new is the tax bracket each year now is going to be increased by inflation, and that doesn't mean the tax rate. That just means the amount. So, like you say, from $10,000 to $10,000 and to $20,000, you pay this much tax rate. It's now going to be $10,000 to $20,020.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's just a tax break.
Whatever happened to this idea where if you buy stuff off of eBay or buy stuff online and you don't pay a state sales tax on the purchase, that you need to write it in and be a...
That was the use tax.
Yes, the good person. Is that still...
It's not on the tax return. It was removed from the tax return after the first year that it was on, but it still exists, and we still have the ability to send it in, and I think we're developing a form for people to be able to do that.
Interesting. Again, inflation seems like the biggest change. I mean, the adjustments for inflation, a lot of things are adjusted for inflation, aren't they?
It's an annual item, so that your personal exemption would increase maybe by $50 on a yearly basis from one year to the next, and the actual return will, give you that figure. But if you electronically file, it's going to kick that number in there for you automatically. So it's nothing that really the taxpayer has to enter in the return. It's going to be there for them to multiply times, or the software will have it incorporated within it.
Same way with the state? I mean, once you file electronically, they kind of guide you along there?
Yeah, it follows the same thing. You go through the federal and then you go to the state, and they'll just follow along with all of the new numbers and everything in there.
As you were mentioning earlier about the standard mileage rate, so that has increased since the past year, and that's going to be in the software itself. But if you don't file electronically, you can go to irs.gov and find out that figure. And there may be a change in the future due to the gas price is increasing. It's based on fixed and variable costs, the standard mileage rate for a business.
All right, so not a heck of a lot in terms
No.
of changes. Common, I want to get to fraud in a second here because I know that's a big topic for both of
Very
you.
big.
But common errors that you see, what do you see in these returns, whether it's electronically or otherwise? Probably mostly the otherwise. But
It's
what
the
do you
otherwise.
see? Yeah, what do you see?
Well, you're going to see people that are married filing jointly and either one or both spouses won't sign. Or you're going to see somebody that's going to fail to put down a tax identification number for a dependent that they're claiming on the return, or transpose the number. They're going to claim head of household as opposed to single when they're really not. Simple things like that that can confuse the Internal Revenue Service, stop the processing, and then you'd get a letter and ask for clarification. Or there could be different results where when everything was finally reviewed, then there would be, once again, this letter saying, well, it doesn't seem that you quite qualify for this particular item. How did you come to that conclusion?
I would imagine math errors.
Math errors are a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're not doing it electronically. And even if you're not doing it electronically, we have on our system tax returns that does the calculations for you. So it's good to go there and at least use that form.
For state taxes, give me a percentage of people that are going electronic.
We do 2.8 million taxpayers. We have about 2 million, a little over 2 million that are doing it electronically.
Oh, okay, so vast majority.
Figures are fairly the same. 2.9 million are expected to file from Arizona this year. 2.5 million will choose to electronically file. So there has to be something to it.
All right, let's talk about fraud, because this time of year it just seems like it's always out there.
It is.
And these forms, whether it's electronic or otherwise, a lot of personal information here. Talk about the fraud.
Well, the most prevalent one is the IRS impersonation tax scam, and it's been around at least since October 2013, where the individual receives this call saying that the caller is from the Internal Revenue Service and that you, Ted, owe taxes. You need to pay those taxes today with a wire transfer or some other electronic means, and if you don't follow my instructions, the Phoenix Police Department is going to come out and arrest you. And so people need to realize that the Internal Revenue Service or any federal agency isn't going to work that way, and to think it through and not fall victim, but to simply hang up on that caller. We're not going to ask for personal information like a credit card or a debit card. We're not going to immediately call you out of the blue and say you owe X. We'll send you a notice in the mail saying, here's what we are looking at you owe, and you have the right as a taxpayer to contest that assessment. So there's a lot of things there that are red flags for the individual, but unfortunately these are high pressure techniques, and they're using fear, and sometimes people do fall victim to this scam. There's another scam too that deals with W-2s that's affecting payroll and personnel individuals, and it's called spoofing. It's a type of phishing, and the person in payroll is getting an email who they think is from the CEO or chief financial officer, and it's not. And all they want is the current year's W-2 information sent to them immediately, now, not later, but now. And unfortunately, people are falling victim to that. And what they should do is take a minute and think, maybe I should check this out with my manager to see if this is true and correct.
Basically, you get a phone call and a bunch of demands. Something's not right.
Yeah, something's not right. And no matter what, because we're not going to call that way, and we're not going to just come cold on a call and say, you owe money, you should be this, you should give us this. I think, and that's a thing that people really got to look for, because what's happening is not only are they scamming the people, but if they're getting their information, then they're filing fraudulent tax returns at the same time. So.
Tax-related identity theft.
Oh yeah. Now, as far as the state's concerned, same kind of fraud concerns or something else?
Some a little bit more. I mean, we don't get as many of the fact of the people fishing for saying you owe us. We get more of those trying to get their information so that then they file a fraudulent tax return, because they're not filing a federal return, they're just filing fraudulent Arizona returns for out-of-state people who will never file anyway.
Right.
So that's where we're finding. We've caught so far this year probably $45 million worth of fraudulent returns.
Real quickly, more or less in the way of fraud now that most folks are going electronic?
I think electronic, it's probably more, because that's what they're using.
Interesting. Same thing with the federal?
I would say so, Ted.
So basically, they know their way around and they're getting there.
The crooks are very Oh, I don't know. They're always thinking of different scams and schemes. And you, the consumer, need to be aware of that and protect yourself. And if you go to irs.gov, there's information on certain things that you can do. It's not going to keep you completely out of the realm of tax fraud, but it can help.
All right. Yes.
Because I always talk about the fact that we're the IRS and the states and the software vendors are doing summits to try to fix this. And you'll see that in your software now that there's more things that you have to do. But I think that the bad guys are doing summits too and figuring out how to get around it. So
they
it's got to be really careful.
always do. Good to have you both here. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you, Ted.
Representatives of the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee for next year's Final Four college basketball tournament recently traveled to Houston to observe this year's staging of the Final Four. Joining us now is Dawn Rogers, Executive Director of the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee. Good to see you.
Great.
How is that effort for Phoenix going along? Give us an update here.
Well, it's hard to believe we're less than a year away, and we've been together for about 18 months working on our efforts, and so all of a sudden we've really ramped it up. Since going to Houston, and we took about 50 people with us. Had a great opportunity to see every aspect of the event, go behind the curtain, see the back of the house. Some people went early, some people went later, but it was all about access and really looking at, for example, we had 9 people from fire and safety go with us. Look at every event, egress, ingress, the whole, the whole gamut. So it was really valuable for us.
And I would imagine just trying to figure out how to stage a basketball game in a football stadium.
Well, the great thing is that part we've got down pretty well because it's been played in the round for a number of years. The trickiest part is doing the colonnade seating, which starts about mid-level in the lower bowl and comes down to the floor because the floor is raised up for this event. But the stadium part is probably I don't want to say the easiest part because another thing about it is easy, but that facility has hosted major events and we've had a basketball game, in the facility. And so it's all the other pieces which are a little bit different for our city that will probably be the biggest efforts.
What about, and apparently you guys have figured this out, but who supplies the scoreboard? And how do you get a scoreboard over the center court when the roof is so high?
Yeah, that was one of our bigger challenges. The NCAA actually brings in the floor, they bring in the seating, they own all the chairs, and they also bring in the scoreboard. So that will come to us a couple weeks out, and we will hang that.
Were there surprises when you went to Houston?
I don't think that there were surprises. I think a couple of the events have grown. For example, Music Fest, when we were there, on Saturday, they reached capacity in the park. On Sunday, they reached capacity in the park. So you spend a year marketing the event and really getting your community excited about coming. And then you hit capacity, which is disappointing for folks. Yeah,
I would imagine so. I want to get to ticket sales in a second here, but as far as most of the activity, it looks like downtown Phoenix is going to be the hub.
Well, the Fan Fest will definitely be in the convention center, and we have all the hotel space downtown. The music festival will be either in downtown Phoenix or in Tempe Beach Park. Those are still sites that are being considered, and we'll probably know by this summer where they will be held.
I was going to say it'd be kind of nice to get Tempe involved. It is a college town here.
Yes.
It is a college tournament.
Absolutely. And the great thing is that Tempe will be involved regardless because of the campus, and the National Association of Basketball Coaches have a large different large hotel blocks that are in Tempe. So that space will be heavily utilized.
That National Coaches Convention, where is that going to be held?
So they'll have hotel space all over the valley, but the meetings will be in the convention center downtown. So that's their annual convention. It's not only Division I, but Division II, III, as well as high school coaches that come to that event. So that's a really large part of the weekend.
Indeed. This is the first Final Four in the West since 1995?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
There's only 10 cities that have a configuration that can host the event. So you have to have 60,000 seats in an indoor facility that's covered to be able to host the event. So we weren't eligible, obviously, until University of Phoenix Stadium opened in 2007. But since 1995, there hasn't been a facility in the West that could host.
I think you're right. I'm trying to think of a covered stadium out west, and you're
No.
right, 60,000?
60,000 minimum. We'll seat between 73 and 75.
Yeah, with all the extra seats on the floor
Right.
and everything.
Yep.
All right, speaking of seats, are tickets on sale yet?
So fans in the Valley, the best opportunity to get seats is to apply through the random seat selection. So there's a ticket application process now that's available through May, and you go online to ncaa.com/MBB tickets,
Okay.
men's basketball tickets.
Right.
And there's an application process where you can apply for tickets, and then you find out in the late summer, early fall whether you were selected.
I've already heard some people complaining now. It's a $25 non-refundable application. What's the non-refundable?
Well, the great part is that if you apply, you automatically get a game program. That $25 fee covers everything that's mailed to you. It covers any credit card fees. So that's a one-time fee, and you're not charged any other fees on top of that.
And I saw that all session tickets are like $200, something along those lines?
Right. There's different price points, but for the tickets that they're selling, they're $200.
And what does all session mean? Does that mean...
So that means that you're getting a ticket for Saturday's games, both semifinal games, and Monday night championship games. So the tickets are really reasonably priced.
So you basically basketball yourself out for the whole weekend.
Absolutely.
I heard people complaining now again that the payment must be made immediately.
Right. So when you do the application process, they do process your credit card. Obviously people change credit cards, expiration dates change. That's kind of a standard in the industry to run your credit card, and then if you're not fortunate enough to get tickets, then it's refunded.
As far as premium tickets, as far as hospitality suites and
Yes.
these sorts of things, available now?
You can go online now to ncaa.com, and that's all done through Prime Sport. So they'll have packages really right up until the games. There's different packages that are available.
Is there concern? I mean, this is going to be going on at the same time as a Cactus League.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's right after Cactus League. So the great part is that Cactus League finishes right about the same time that fans for the Final Four will be rolling in.
so it's not exactly the same time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's going to be a lot of people.
That would be really challenging.
Getting in the
Yeah.
way on the freeway when I'm trying to drive
That's
home.
right. Clogging up your ear.
Yeah, exactly. You nervous about this?
No, not at all.
How come?
This is the 12th Final Four that I've been to. It is by far my favorite event. And so I think that because a group of us have been doing this for a while, have been trying to get the bid for a while, have been going to the event, that it's just kind of become second nature. We'll have our challenges along the way, but we're just so excited and proud to bring this to Arizona, and just the legacy initiatives that we can do, the things that we can do to benefit the whole state are really exciting.
Well, all right. We'll see how she goes. Good to have you here.
Great, thanks for having us.
We want to hear from you. Submit your questions, comments, and concerns via email at arizonahorizon@asu.edu.
PBS show Downton Abbey introduced Americans to many British traditions, including tea service. A new study estimates that Brits drink 165 million cups of tea a day. But you don't have to travel overseas to enjoy this long-celebrated tradition. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Langston Fields take us to Carefree for the perfect cup of English tea.
I opened up the English Rose Tea Room because as an English girl moving to Arizona, it was very hard to find a decent cup of tea. So I looked and looked, and in the end thought, I better do it myself.
While Jo Gemmell has been serving a proper cup of tea since 2002, now more than ever, people are flocking to her business, the English Rose Tea Room. She credits that to the popularity of masterpieces Downton Abbey, where tea is a supporting star.
And both the upstairs and the downstairs drink tea, but in a slightly different way. If you look at Mrs. Patmore, she has that enormous brown teapot. It must weigh a ton, and it serves at least 15 cups of tea as she's pouring it. And similarly upstairs, it's a grander affair, as I mentioned, but tea is all about sitting, talking, socializing, drinking tea.
Tea itself was discovered by a Chinese emperor more than 4,000 years ago, but the tea ceremony was created by Anna, the Duchess of Bedford.
Now this was back in the 18th century, when back then women wore very refined but very confining clothes, and you know, the corsets that cinched the waistline in, and they couldn't eat very much. And they tended to have a big meal later in the evening, about 8 o'clock, and that was a very elaborate affair where you'd have all the different courses. But during the day, women were expected to just look very pale and interesting, but not eat.
That didn't sit well with Anna, so she insisted that tea and pastries be served in the afternoon, and it turned into a grand affair. Tea itself was very expensive, as precious as gold, and was only available in the most upscale homes.
So the servants, the downstairs folk, would bring up the beautiful tea service with all the silver and the cutlery and the bone china and all of the delicacies. But it was the lady of the house that always unlocked the tea caddy and actually put the tea leaves into the teapot, and she poured the tea. It was very much her realm and her tea party. And if you were invited, it was a great honor to go to a big house and have tea.
Because the ceremony was a great honor, Gemmell says knowing proper etiquette was important.
If you were sat at a high table, you always left the teacup on the table and you brought the cup toward you. If you were in the library at Downton, sitting on one of those lovely red leather couches or red velvet couches, usually you'd have a low table in front of you, and it's very awkward then to be leaning across and grabbing the cup and pulling it towards you. So you'd always, in that instance, you'd keep the teacup and you'd have it in your hand like this, and you'd bring the teacup up towards you this way.
The tea ceremony also had an effect on the emancipation of women. Until this point, it was unseemly for women to go out unchaperoned. Coffee houses were for men only.
Tea houses, on the other hand, were a completely different thing. And women of the day then could be seen out and about, unchaperoned. You'll remember in Downton that Edith is quite excited that she can go into a cafe on her own and not have anybody else with her. It feels rather risque.
At the English Rose Tea Room, you don't need a chaperone, just a good friend. Laura Olson is visiting from Wyoming.
Especially since we live apart now, just the opportunity to sit and catch up without, we both have small children. So the opportunity to sit and have a conversation without being interrupted, to let our conversation flow, and just to enjoy each other's company has been great.
Tea at the English Rose is served the traditional way with scones and finger sandwiches. Lunch items are also available. Another popular item not on the menu, the hat box. Customers can pick out a fanciful topper from Gemmell's collection. The English Rose serves 50 different types of tea. And in case you were wondering, there is a correct way to prepare tea, says Gemmell.
The tea is left to steep for about 3 minutes, and then you pour the tea through a strainer into a fine bone china teacup. And then I like to put the milk in last. There's always a dilemma, should you put the milk in first or the milk in last? Years ago they used to say you put the milk in first because the china was so fine that by putting cold milk into the cup you helped to prevent it from cracking. But now, generally, I suggest to people put the milk in last and then you can tell how much you need. But tea always tastes better with milk, not with cream, with milk.
But it doesn't matter how you take your tea. Gemmell says tea time is a lovely respite from the traditional coffee break.
The whole process of waiting for the tea to steep, pouring the tea, adding the milk, adding the sugar, all of that takes time. So it's not something that you can rush. So tea really makes you feel that you're spending quality time with somebody when you're drinking it.
And finally tonight, some sad news about a longtime friend and guest of Arizona Horizon, ASU pollster Bruce Merrill, who conducted a poll for Arizona PBS and ASU for decades. passed away Saturday after a fight with cancer. He was 78. Bruce's poll results were often major local and national stories. Bruce was an Arizona native, raised in the Safford area. He received a Ph.D. in political behavior from the University of Michigan. After getting his degree and serving as a naval officer, he formed a political consulting firm doing polls for President Richard Nixon, Senator Barry Goldwater, and many others. In 1972, Bruce was appointed by President Nixon to the Population Advisory Committee, which directs the work of the Census Bureau. He then joined ASU's faculty in 1970. Bruce Merrill was Professor Emeritus of Mass Communication in the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication and a Senior Fellow for Polling and Quantitative Research at ASU's Morrison Institute. Bruce was a frequent guest on Arizona Horizon since the show's inception back in 1981, not only to talk about his poll results, but to offer insight into politics, like this appearance about a year ago in which he talked about the U.S. Senate race in Arizona. Could Ann Kirkpatrick face a Republican other than John McCain? In other words, does McCain have a primary problem?
Well, I think not really. I mean, the right wing of the Republican Party has disliked John McCain for years and years and years. They've tried to get rid of him a couple of times. And so that's a problem in a primary, but I just don't see that happening because in Arizona, you have so many older, retired military people that that's a big basis of support for the senator. So I would be surprised if he doesn't make it through the primary, and if he makes it through the primary, he'll certainly be the favorite against Ann.
Again, Bruce Merrill dead at the age of 78.
Possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.